Today we're at Laguna Seca driving a 2021 Toyota GR Supra owned by Tylai. I need to actually ask Tylai how he walks straight because he has some massive balls of steel. You're going to see what I mean when I get behind the car, start pushing it on track because this car is a beast and not necessarily in a good way. We're of course powered by the B58, that's the 3-liter inline-6 twin-scroll turbocharged engine, making 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque. When stock, made it to the ZF 8-speed automatic torque converter. However, he has a Stage 1 flex tune, and the engine is otherwise stock except for this tune, but it's now making 450 wheel horsepower. The car weighs 3,300 pounds stock, and the key mods would be the KW Racing 3-way coilovers, 16K front and rear, Paragon brake pads, but actually stock brakes overall because despite having such insane performance, he says that the replacement costs of the brakes, which are ultimately a wear item when you're tracking so frequently, is too high. So he keeps the stock brakes and just can replace the rotors and the calipers as needed. We're on Goodyear Supercar 3R tires, 295 section with rubber, and the full mod list as always is down in the description. Now, Tylai is incredibly fast. He's actually hit a 132.9 here at Laguna, 151 at Thunderhill East, a 139 at Sonoma. Quick car, incredibly quick driver. And he actually just gave me the keys right as he was accepting his first place award for winning TTA at this event as well. We're running with Lightspeed track events. Use code Jabal for $25 off. But because he was busy with the award ceremony, as I got out on track, I didn't actually have much of a conversation with him. I didn't know what to expect from the car. And you're going to see how that did surprise me quite a bit. First impressions, love the seating position, steering wheel telescoping really far out with this button box and this extension. Small aftermarket steering wheel as well. And all right, we have a good amount of power. Let's slowly ease into it. We have the nannies on right now. And instantly, first corner, can feel the tail wanting to come out. There's actually a big reason for this that you're gonna see at the end of the video when I talk to Tylai, because we forgot to do one very important thing after his session and before mine. All right, so first lap, I've put it into manual mode. We have very effective aero, but here over turn 1 at this crest, I'm just, getting used to the car, so I'm still lifting, although totally not necessary in this car. Sawing at the wheel, trying to, first of all, correct for it, because when you get on the brakes, the car heaves and will shift side to side. Not inspiring confidence, but also there's not much feel through the wheel. So you have to try to figure out what's happening through the car, through the seat of your pants, because the steering wheel itself is not telling you much. Getting on the brakes, at most of these corners, it really starts to shimmy and heave. We're getting on the brakes incredibly conservatively in these early laps, but let's see how close we can get to Tylai's time. Definitely not anything near a 132.9 or 133, but if we can get within, let's say, 5 seconds, that'll be a reasonable goal. Definitely did not have to downshift into second there at the top of corkscrew. Keeping it in third would have been adequate. Don't really need that much. I mean, the B58 already has plenty of torque, and plus you don't need so much power at the top of corkscrew anyways. Looking at the center stack, trying to figure out how do I do traction, because the traction just keeps kicking in super aggressively. Normally when I drive people's cars on track, I keep the traction on, or at least in a middle setting, unless the owner tells me not to, because of course, new car, want to be respectful, want to minimize any kind of risk. 145 is incredibly slow, but we're going to keep ramping it up and seeing how we can shave the seconds off. I just did another lap at a 142, getting frustrated by the traction just being so incredibly aggressive. So we're pulling in, gonna start the Garmin Catalyst even though we already have the aim on the left-hand side. By the way, if you like these gloves, check out the link below. These are my buddies, -273 Senna-inspired gloves that you can find with a special discount below. And now we're figuring out how to turn off traction control. Because again, Tylai wasn't able to give me the walk around or warn me for what is about to come on this car. So now with traction off, let's see how this beast behaves. First corner here, turn 3, Laguna Seca. And we are having to correct and saw at the wheel, mid-corner, corner exit, because the throttle too, he's actually tuned the throttle mapping as well, so it is not as linear. It's actually very challenging to modulate. There's quite a steep learning curve with this car. Not only is the throttle not as linear and high resolution as you would want, but you combine that with a car that has a super happy rear end, and you're constantly fighting to keep it straight and not have the rear end spin round on you. Now, could definitely have carried quite a bit more speed there with the aero, but that's okay. We're, again, just slowly easing into this car. And keeping it in third now. Getting on the throttle a little bit aggressive, having to correct again. This car is just constantly wanting to get the tail out, which I normally don't mind tail-happy cars, but when you have such a touchy throttle, a steering which doesn't communicate with you very much, the heaving every time you go for the brakes, the car just feels dangerous. It feels like a wild animal that you're constantly trying to tame. And because you don't have that same level of communication, as you can see there are still these micro corrections because the rear end is constantly wanting to come out. I'm getting a little bit better at modulating it. But because this car feels so wild, it demands a lot of you as a driver, and I'm sure that if you spend more time with this car, you can learn to work around it, and again, you're really having to manage that rear end. But it is a car that demands a lot from you as a driver. Now, what you're going to see at the end of the video when I'm talking to Tylai is that because he had just finished time trial, we forgot to actually adjust the tire pressures. So here you can see these micro corrections, right? The rear end is even more unstable than normal, simply because we forgot to release some of that tire pressure. It was already hot from the prior session. It's also getting hotter and hotter. This is now the early afternoon. So very suboptimal, already a very tail-happy car, but even more challenging because the rear PSI is too high by about 4 to 5, as you'll see in the end of the video. Approaching turn 9, very conservatively, you can carry a lot more speed at these mid and higher speed corners when you have so much aero on the car, but gotta grow to trust it. Turn 10, my favorite. You can always listen a bit of that trail brake rotation because you are heading downhill, and the camber change. So this is essentially our first proper lap with traction control off. Now let's see what we're at across the line. A 138.2. And considering the circumstances, this is the first lap with no traction. The PSI is too high. There are a lot of things here that aren't optimal. I'm actually not too unhappy with that. Of course, several seconds off the actual pace that Tylai would be on. But given what an animal this vehicle is, again, some micro corrections. I'm getting to understand the limit of the car a little bit more, so it's not surprising me as much where I need to have as much counter steer. Able to modulate it a little bit better. And now getting to the part where it's just dancing with the car, corner after corner. Still not comfortable with it, but getting to that point more consistently to have a little bit of slip angle, carrying a little bit more speed, and these B58 engines, I mean, the tuning overhead, I mean, to have 450 wheel horsepower with a stock engine, really impressive stuff. And maybe I spoke too soon. Getting a little bit ham-fisted, or maybe not even ham-fisted, but just too binary with the throttle that having to do a lot of correction there at the top of corkscrew. Carrying a bit more speed now through turn 9, trusting that aero a little bit more. Across the line, a 138.88. And now that I'm getting more comfortable with the car, let's see if I can get to at least the low 138s here. Again, the tail wanting to step out. having to be very patient and very careful with how you modulate it. Some correction on the brakes as the car shimmies. Mid corner exit, of course, having to do some corrections as well. Can carry more speed there. Again, at just about every corner we can honestly carry more speed, which is why we are more than 5 seconds off the pace from Tylai. But of all the cars I've ever driven on track, this is perhaps the steepest learning curve of any vehicle I've ever driven on track. But the nice thing is when you have a steep learning curve, it is more rewarding as you slowly reel it in, as you slowly do progress along that learning curve. I still have a very far way to go along this learning curve for this car. But from when you first get in and you feel like, what is this wild animal, to then feeling like, okay, it's still a wild animal, but I can at least not get killed by it, that is a rewarding feeling. The line, a 138.19. It's a very slow and minor progression, but we are slowly getting more comfortable with the car. Again, some larger corrections here. And I ended up doing one additional lap, which was a 138.3. So I was clustering in the low 138s, but I'm pretty confident it would have been a 137 if we had the tire pressure adjusted properly before the session. It was too high in the front, but extra high in the rear as well. Now, this does make me think about what you want to get out of a track car. And if you want to chase lap times and you're comfortable with a car that is very tail happy, it is a very quick way to go around a track if you can handle it, right? Tylai, again, hitting 133 or just under 133, very impressive. But to me, it's not just about lap times and how quick you are. To me, it's also about the communication, the way that you actually feel, right? So the steering, incredibly numb. We have the heaving on braking. The chassis itself, decently, but not great on communication either. The transmission and the brakes I had no issue with. The ZF 8-speed is perfectly adequate. You do get that little bit of drama, that torque dip between shifts, and the brake pedal with these Paragon pads had a good amount of solidity. The modulation was fine there. It was just the steering being numb and the throttle being so binary and so hard to modulate because of that new tune. I'm not sure if the throttle mapping is tuned in a way that Tylai likes, or if this is a work in progress and he's going to be adjusting it in the future.
How do you feel?
Scary car.
Sir, what?
The tail wants to keep getting out, always.
Yeah. Yeah, the tire pressure is too high. It's getting hot.
How hot was it?
38 psi.
Oh my god.
That's why.
There's the problem.
If you guys watch my buddy Fenton's video, even with his PSI being properly set, still an issue.
Here for some reason.
Sorry?
Today's traction here is not ideal as well.
Yeah. I think because you did time trial right before, right? So,
Yeah, it's like...
He was mentioning that the conditions at Laguna that day, it was a pretty hot day, track a bit greasy, so also not optimal in terms of setting lap times, but also just the car being a little bit more tail happy than normal. Now get this, Tylai is going to tell me that the throttle mapping here is actually better than what he had before when the car was making 470 horsepower, which is crazy.
It's way better now. When I first tuned it, it's about 470 horsepower, and throttle map is not so well. It was way worse.
how much power does it make now?
450 on wheel.
And you said it was 470 before?
Yeah, I down-tuned it a little bit to keep it safe on Thunder Hill during summer.
Got it.
It's around 150 flat on Thunder Hill.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Good shit.
138 on Laguna Seca. Sorry, on Sonoma.
But the tires were at 38 in the rear. What are you normally running them at?
34. 34 hot. So now is 4 psi higher. It's definitely influenced a little bit, and throttle is very responsive.
It was very touchy. And when you drive your car, you have traction off.
Yes, fully.
Yeah, because I had it on initially, but it kept cutting in.
Yes,
too much.
there's no way to drive it with traction.
So I had to turn it off, and then the tail kept wanting to come out.
It's a bit tricky to drive this thing.
It is, it is. I think a big part of it is it was a bit too hot in the rear. What was the front like?
36.
Okay, so more the rear.
Yeah, it's getting hotter this afternoon, so that's why.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, probably if I'm driving, it will be better. The tire pressure is adjusted.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Tylai for letting me review his Supra. Very impressive how quick he drives it on track, and also incredibly trusting for him to give me the keys without even the warnings on the traction and how tail happy it is and all those things. So big shout out to Tylai. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabaloncars.com, or I'll see you at the next Lightspeed track event. Much love, and I'll see you in that next one.